Hey, my name is Serene, and I decided to do this video where I talk about my favorite myths with Aphrodite while a speed drawing I did of her plays in the background. To start up front and honest, I am really sorry. The quality of the speed painting sucks in the background. It's terrible, and that's because I use this app called Autodesk Sketchbook, and it's free, and it's really, really nice for a free app, especially for me who is broke and draws on my phone and needs an app that corresponds with the phone. So I just used the time-lapse option that Autodesk provides, and I didn't realize that it actually sucks. It's terrible until I recorded half of it and then I cut it off to see what it looked like. I was like, oh, that sucks. So after that point, I downloaded a different recording app, and that's what I'll be using. So if you're only in this for the art, then I go ahead and just skip to about 5 or 6 minutes in, and that's where it should be. I'm really sorry. So yeah, there's that. So just to start out with the basics of Aphrodite, I figured I'd talk about her birth, which isn't normal or like the rest of the original Greek gods. So to start out long back, so there was Gaia and Urnos, and they were kind of the god of the earth and the sky. So Gaia has Kronos, and Urnos is not happy about this because Kronos is destined to destroy him. But so they keep living, and eventually Gaia convinces Kronos to kill Urnos and chop him into a bunch of tiny pieces while he is sleeping, and then cast him in the ocean. And of course Kronos is like, oh yes, power, getting to be in charge, I like that. So he did that, and when he threw all the pieces of Urnos into the ocean, for whatever reason, whatever mixed in the ocean with like Urnos' godly blood or whatever created this white sea foam, and it started glowing really brightly, and it really freaked out the fish, and they were like, I don't like this, why is it glowing? Only they didn't think that because they were fish. But you get the point. Anyway, so then out of that foam and that glowiness forms a goddess, and she is absolutely beautiful. She is perfect in every way, and anyone who saw her immediately fell in love with her because she is just amazing. Anyway, so then Zeus's 3 kids that he had with another titan named Thetis, at least I think that's how it's said. If I don't pronounce these names right, I'm sorry. I'm not ancient Greek. Anyway, so he had these 3 children with Thetis, and they were for the 3 seasons. Now you may be saying, wait, 3 seasons? I don't think you know math or anything about being a human. But no, it was actually the ancient Greeks, because they didn't actually have a winter because it just didn't get that cold there. So they thought that there were only 3 seasons. So you can blame them. Anyway, so autumn, spring, and summer come along this beach, and they see this beautiful woman just standing there. They're like, holy cannoli, she has to be a goddess, because there's no way a human looks this good. Like, this woman is like, you just see like the clouds parting and like the sun falling on her, and there's probably like birds chirping around like Snow White in the Disney movie. She is like legit perfect. So they start talking to her, and they're like, oh, we'll take you to Mount Olympus and introduce you to the other gods. So they get there, and there is a literal riot. The gods start rioting over her. Of course, all the males, because they're all scumbags, are like, oh, wow, she's pretty cute. Yeah, can she marry me? And all the females were like, what's going on? We don't like the competition. Especially Hera, because Zeus was like, she walked in and Zeus was like, whoa! And like all the male, like the gods, their like jaws were on the floor. So then Hera, being the devious goddess that she is, she says, okay, so because I don't want everyone to fight, how about instead of giving Aphrodite someone good, we'll give her someone humble that doesn't deserve her. That way you can all feel like, you didn't get her because she got someone that was lowly and down to earth. And so Aphrodite, with a smirk almost, Hera, with a smirk almost, turns to Aphrodite and says, "Here, you can marry my son, Hephaestus." And quick backstory about Hephaestus, he is ugly. Okay, like, I'm not trying to be rude or be, like, mean or anything, but he is described in the myths as being super ugly. Like, he has scars, and he is deformed. Like, he's one of those people that you would say he has a face only a mother could love. Only even his mother couldn't love him, because when he was born, his mother took one look at him and said, "Wow, this child is ugly," and then threw him off of a mountain type. Way to go, Hera. Great parenting. Anyway, so she gave Aphrodite to Hephaestus. And Aphrodite at this point, because she's the goddess of love and beauty, so she is super superficial. Like, she only cares about looks. She doesn't care about personality. So she's like about to vomit, but all the goddesses are like, "Oh yeah, she definitely deserves Hephaestus because he's someone that won't love her for her beauty, he'll love her for her personality." And Aphrodite's like, "What? No." And then all the male gods are like, "Oh yeah, that's a good idea." And because they're thinking like, "Oh, if she doesn't love him, then I can be your super secret boyfriend. Yay!" And so they got married. I'm so sorry. I think that was a trash truck. That was really weird. Anyway, so they got married, and of course, Aphrodite is not faithful to Hephaestus at all, because she hates him because he is ugly, and he is not pretty, and she only likes people that are pretty. So, yeah. She does not have any children with Hephaestus. Oh, she has tons of children, but none with her actual husband. Which, I just feel bad for the guy. But, you know, it is what it is. So, more on that in a second. But, yeah. So, of course, Aphrodite went for Hephaestus' younger brother, Ares. And I just think this is funny. Because, like, imagine if you had a younger brother that, like, looked better than you, and everyone loved him because, you know, he was prettier than you. And then you got this, like, drop-dead gorgeous wife. And then it turns out she's in love with your brother, not you. Like, I would hate him. So, yeah. So she and Ares were secretly dating behind Hephaestus' back the entire time. But Aphrodite, you know, she doesn't just stop there. No, she also decides to fall in love with some mortal boys. Because, you know, not just having a husband isn't enough for her. Not just having your side piece of meat, Ares, on the side. That's not enough for her. No. So, this story kind of starts out where Aphrodite, basically, she gets really jealous at this girl. And so basically makes this girl get pregnant, and then her father almost kills her. So then she kind of feels bad because she didn't want it to go that far. So to save the girl, she turns her into a tree. But apparently trees can be pregnant. So 9 months later, a baby just appears out of the tree. A miracle. But anyway, so this baby is like the absolute most handsome child. Like, he is adorable. So she feels really bad, and so she decides to take care of the baby to kind of pay back for making that girl almost die and have to get turned into a tree. So she's taking care of this child, and but it's really bad because, you know, she doesn't know how to take care of children because all she cares about is herself and what people look like. So she keeps it hidden, too, because she doesn't want anyone to know about it. So she decides to strike up this deal with my girl Persephone down in the underworld, where Persephone takes care of this child, and Aphrodite will come and kind of get him on weekends and stuff. So Persephone raises him. So this kid grows up, and he's looking pretty good. Like, imagine your biggest celebrity crush, you know, and he's like 10 times hotter than him. I guarantee it. So Aphrodite had named him Adonis, and I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right, but it is what it is. So she and Persephone fight over who gets to be Adonis's secret girlfriend, because they're both married. And so they both fight, and they're like, well, Aphrodite's like, I was the one who found him, finders keepers. And Persephone was like, I was the one who raised him most of his life. So they kind of turned to him, and they're like, who do you like more? And he's like, I don't know, because he didn't know. These were like mothers to him, and now they're wanting to date him. It's kind of weird, but so is all of Greek mythology, so just get used to it. So they, of course, go to Zeus, who is king of the gods, obviously. Who else would they go to? Because Zeus definitely has the best judgment. You can't see me right now, but I'm rolling my eyes. Anyway, so they go to Zeus, and Zeus is like, all right, so what about this? So Persephone, you can have him for 1/3 of the year. Aphrodite, you can have him for the second third of the year, and then for the final third of the year, he just gets it to himself, so he can have, like, you know, his own time, do what he wants, be a young man, find young gentlemen, and I think that'll work best for everyone, so they all agree to this. Well, it kind of sucks for Persephone, because her third of the year falls during winter, when she's down in the underworld, and Adonis hated the underworld. He didn't like it. It was gloomy, there were dead people everywhere, and it was just overall miserable. Plus, he had to hide from Hades, because Hades didn't know Adonis was staying there. So most of the time, like, he preferred Aphrodite, because she got to be up in the sunlight. She was the goddess of beauty, so she was drop-dead gorgeous, if I haven't said this enough. So he decides, eventually he just was like, oh, okay, so for his own third of the year, he just stays with Aphrodite. So, you know, it's kind of like a big screw you to Persephone, and Aphrodite was, like, real proud of that. But this story, of course, doesn't end there. Because, as we all know, Aphrodite not only has a husband, but has her little secret side piece of meat, Ares. And Ares is pretty jealous. So Ares sees that Persephone is hanging out with this mortal boy, and he's like, no, she's mine. Even though she wasn't his, she was technically Hephaestus's. But we all know how Ares is. Anyway, so Ares gets really, really mad. And he decides, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to kill him. But secretly. So Adonis really, really liked hunting. He was a hunter. So one day, his dog, started barking or whatever at this trail, and he starts following it, and then he gets gored to death by a wild hog. Surprise, that was Ares in hog form. So Aphrodite, of course, sees this, and she, cries over him for an entire day. She's like, oh no, my sweet Adonis, even in death, you are beautiful. I love you, Adonis. And a day later, she's going back to Ares because she didn't really love him. She just thought he was pretty. Yeah, so that's how that went. So moral of the story, don't fall in love with Aphrodite, or else you're going to get gored to death by a wild hog, and she won't even care. Yay! Alright, so finally, her and Ares have been secretly dating for a while now, a few hundred years, few centuries, give or take. You know how it be. Well, everyone knew it, except for Hephaestus. And honestly, I think that Hephaestus probably knew that she was cheating on him, and he just was like, well, maybe she can love me. Maybe if I show her how much I care about her, and I make her beautiful things, and I love her, then she'll love me. So eventually Helios, the god of the sun, feels bad enough for Hephaestus, because Hephaestus is one of the kind of nice ones. He's not a complete jerk like Zeus. So Helios pulls him to the side and is like, hey bro, she's cheating on you, and you're just refusing to see it. And so of course Hephaestus got really mad. So he's like, you know what? I'm gonna humiliate both of them. So what he does is he goes and he makes this net out of, a fish net, out of these unbreakable golden wires. And he goes to his wife and he's like, honey poo, I'm gonna be gone for a few days. Hope that doesn't bother you. And she's like, oh, okay, I'll see you, bye. And so then, of course, like 2 minutes later, she calls over Aries and she's like, hey, guess who's gone for the weekend? And so Aries comes over and, they start having some fun when they go into her room and immediately get trapped by the fishnet. And Hephaestus is like, are you for real? You're cheating on him under my own roof. Like, I leave for a few days and this is what you do. So he calls over all the other gods and they heckle her. And Aries. And he doesn't want to let him out, but eventually he is convinced to let him out. But he decides, he's like, I don't want her in my house. I don't want to be married to her anymore. I want you to pay back her dowry because she is not being faithful to me. And I have done nothing but love her, which is really fair enough on his part. So, I don't know if they got divorced or what. It's not really completely clear. But, I mean, she's not living in his house. They're no longer considered married, so we're just going to say they got divorced. And that was the end of that. But of course she was happy about that because she didn't like him because, oh, he's ugly. I don't like him. I don't care about personality. I'm superficial. And, that was that. And that's really all I have to say about Aphrodite. I wasn't really going to go too in depth for the other myths. Plus, this video is already, pretty long. So yeah, I'm going to end it here. I had this idea because I drew the Greek goddesses a while ago. And, a few months ago, not long. But since then, I've developed a style. And I really wanted to redraw them in that style. So, and I did use a reference picture, but I don't remember where I found it. So if someone knows where it was at, then leave it down in the comments and I'll put it in the description. But one of the things I really wanted to change was when I used the reference, I just kind of stayed with I used the same pose, the same face, and I was like, well, she is the goddess of beauty, so I really wanted to change her pose and keep it really cute, really fun, and just keep the glowy and the sparkliness. So I really did enjoy doing this drawing again, and so I hope you liked it too. If you saw it, you could have seen it earlier in the corner. But I will have a full, ups of the drawing later in the video, right about now, probably, since the video is ending, where you can see, my progress, and you can just see what that older drawing looked like. But yeah, thanks for watching. See ya!